Tucked high into the ancient agricultural terraces of southern China, isolated among the mountains of the Guangxi region, there is a village where women cut their hair only once in their entire lives. These are the women of the Red Yao. They carry an average of 2 meters of hair, a length that takes nearly 2 decades to grow, winding and coiling it atop their heads in shapes that tell the story of their marriage and motherhood. Cross an ocean and step back 1,000 years to the Heian court ladies of Japan, and you find the exact same phenomenon. Noblewomen navigated the corridors of the imperial palace with heavy, glossy black hair trailing across the floor behind them, often growing longer than the women were tall. Modern beauty marketing suggests we need clinical serums and lab-born synthetics to achieve this kind of resilience. Yet these two distinct cultures, separated by centuries, reached world record lengths with no modern intervention at all. Both cultures relied on the same ingredient, the humble, cloudy liquid left over from rinsing and cooking rice. The village's world record for length is the result of a precise domestic ritual, one that modern science is finally beginning to explain. The process begins with fermentation. Yao women store the rice water in clay pots, allowing it to age until the pH drops and the liquid fills with a potent mix of amino acids and antioxidants. For centuries, this was simply an act of faith passed down through generations. But in 2010, researchers decided to place this ancestral rinse under a microscope to find empirical proof of its efficacy. The researchers looked at how hair naturally fails. The outer layer of a human hair strand, the cuticle, is armored in tiny overlapping scales. Over time, friction and weather cause these scales to lift and crack, exposing the fragile core to damage that eventually leads to breakage. They identified a specific molecule in rice water called inositol. Its primary advantage is its tiny size, which allows it to slip past the lifted scales of the cuticle and penetrate the strand's inner core. Once inside, inositol binds directly to damaged keratin proteins. It repairs the gaps from within and remains locked inside the shaft even after the water is washed away. This creates an elastic recovery effect. By restructuring the inside of the shaft, inositol improves the hair's overall flexibility by nearly 50%. The structural result of the fermentation process is a strand that flexes and slides against itself. This prevents the hair from snapping under the friction of daily life. However, the 2010 study found no evidence that rice water wakes up sleeping follicles or makes hair grow faster from the scalp. Human hair grows at a fixed biological speed. Regardless of the treatment used, a strand gains roughly 1 centimeter a month, or 12 to 15 centimeters a year. Apply that rigid math to the 2-meter lengths found in Huangluo. To reach that size, an individual strand of hair must stay attached to the head, completely unbroken, for 15 years. That is 15 years of sun, thousands of nights of sleep, and physical labor in the fields. Most hair strands cannot survive a decade and a half of friction without snapping off and starting over. The women of Huangluo win a meticulous, strand-by-strand war of attrition against loss. They keep the length they earn by ensuring that almost nothing they grow is ever broken. Extreme length is a product of mathematical endurance. It proves that reaching the floor relies entirely on longevity, not speed. While most people lose length to split ends and shedding, the Yao women retain nearly every millimeter of growth. Achieving this requires a generational commitment to working with nature's slow grain. It is a community-wide practice of preservation that stretches back 2,000 years. This ritual has limits. Overusing the starches in rice water can leave hair brittle or weighed down. The Yao avoid this by balancing the rinse with local herbs and the rhythm of the running river water. Rice water serves as the tool, supporting a centuries-old relationship with routine and a quiet reverence for the hair itself. Timeless beauty relies on the supernatural patience to simply lose less, rather than trying to force nature to provide more.